As I've come to watch South Carolina more closely, I've really begun appreciating the fact that Dawn Staley really doesn't engage in coach speak. A lot of coaches will go up there and speak in platitudes or say whatever, but even when addressing her own players, there's a lot of honesty that comes off from Staley's answers. That doesn't mean she's perfect or she's doing a perfect job or whatever, but she's been pretty close to perfect record wise. And I do appreciate hearing her perspective. I'm going to play you a few clips after South Carolina's win against Duke that get to the point of what I'm talking about. Let's start with the Malaysia Fulwiley situation because that's been the hot button topic around South Carolina this season. Obviously, there were calls for her to transfer after she didn't play much, and she struggled a bit. She struggled a bit in this one, too. And Dawn Staley drew up a play for her at the end of the third quarter, I believe, to try to get her going. But what was also very clear, direct, and blunt about what she wants from her, why that play was drawn up, why she liked that play, and the need to get her on track. Here was the head
We
coach.
have to get her going. We have to get her going, um, and it is that particular play. The way she scored on that play is what we need from her. She can still do what she does, but we need more of those fundamental straight line drives where she's utilizing her skill set and her superpower, her speed, her jumping ability. I mean, it's, I mean, that is like picture perfect. And I'm like, that's it. You can get a lot more of those, like so many more of those. So, yes, we have to get her going, and we will. We will. We're fortunate that some of our other guards are playing well, so we're not feeling it as much, but we will. We will feel, her her not filling the stat sheet up. So we got to get her going.
You could see some frustration there from coach. And one thing I noted there is that she wasn't trying to keep Fulwiley from being aggressive or rein her in per se. It was just a specific instruction. And I love when I can relate any of this to what I'm doing. But I was coaching youth basketball last night too. And not that this is youth basketball, but you get the point. I was also coaching, not at that level or even anywhere in the realm. But I had some kids who kept taking these wide angles, and I'm trying to tell them downhill, attack the basket. When you go out wide, I get it. It's natural for you to want to get away from the defender that way, but you're also then turning the sideline into a defender or turning the baseline into a defender. Straight downhill, go attack, attack, attack. And I don't think Fulwiley is taking these wide roundabout routes, but basically what Staley is saying is she might be playing around too much at times instead of being decisive and putting that GPS towards the rim, if you will. Then Staley also talked about some of the other players on her team, including another guard and the freshman guard, Maddie McDaniel, who could get more minutes for this team. And in fact, that could affect Fulwiley because I was impressed with McDaniel last night and how assertive she was and how smart she was out on the court.
Like if you can and if you can have a young point guard that can just play solid and is reliable, like she is reliable. Like she doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. She handles the ball well. She knows what we need, what we want to, how we want to play and execute on both sides of the basketball. She can score. You put her in the pick and roll. I mean, she's delivering for us time and time again. Um, just solid. You know, it's unfortunate that we don't have more minutes to give her because all of our point guards are playing really well. Maddie makes me smile. Like she really does. She makes me smile because she's such a her mother calls her sweet girl, and she's really sweet. Um, she's smart. She's quiet. She is a hard worker. She is a pleaser. She is playing well. And she chose us. Like she chose us. She could have gone to any school. She could have, Duke was one of her schools. Georgia was one of her schools. And she chose to come here. And when you choose to come here knowing that we had Powell, knowing we had Raven, that could be intimidating. That could be, some people told her that she's making the worst decision of her life, and we won't play her until her junior year. Like, and I'm happy because she's proven them wrong. But a player like Maddie's not this. She's always going to be successful in anything that she does because of, her approach to everything that she does.
So Dawn Staley there with some really effusive praise for McDaniel, and you can almost see the difference between the way she feels comfortable, that word reliable about McDaniel, and that sense of frustration around Fulwiley. Now there was one other player she talked about in depth, and that was Khloe Kitts, who had a big game for South Carolina. Obviously, Kitts was the subject of some discussion early in the year because she missed the game due to academic policy issue, but she's been back and she had a big one for South Carolina against Duke. This was Dawn.
Khloe wants it bad. Sometimes it works for her and sometimes it works against her. Today it worked for her. Just as early as yesterday, she's just like, basically, yeah, telling me I don't believe in her. Like, where you get that from? Like, what are you? Part of it is, you can look at the minutes, and her minutes decreased over Thanksgiving, but we were winning by 30, 40 points. And sometimes allowing some youngsters to get some minutes that will strengthen our team, you may look at it as, I don't believe in her. She did take some bad shots and, over Thanksgiving, and I took her out because of it. She didn't take bad shots. She didn't take bad shots today. And because of that, she gets this kind of performance. When she takes bad shots, it kind of lends itself to not, us not being able to right the track. Because if she's taking a bad shot, if Ashton takes a bad shot, if Joyce takes a bad shot, we're a bad shooting team. So my expectation is for her to take better shots so she can set the example because she can score. Like, she can really score the basketball. So I'm happy because Khloe pours into herself. Like, she does all the right things in regards to prepping herself. She does all the right things and making lifestyle changes, like really, and lifestyle changes in order for her to play this way. Like, she wants to be a pro, so she's active in doing things and creating habits that will help her. So I want basketball to repay her for that. Like, every time she steps on the floor, because there's so many that they just come to practice and that's it. They don't do any extra. She does all the extra. So I want basketball to repay her in this way a lot more times than it has.
So I just want to say, as a member of the media, oftentimes it can be frustrating when the subjects of the questions don't give you anything. And I love that Dawn Staley is able to provide substance there without being sensational, without, spouting off. She just kind of kept it real and coached on the podium.